After I took out the formic acid, I wanted to feed him before it got really cold. This is how I do it. I use a quail drinker or chick drinker. Put it in the hive on the top. And they say bees do not heat the hive, and they don't necessarily heat the hive, but the heat that comes off the bees keeps the hive warmer. During the polar vortex, I saw icicles on the front where I have the hole, so the heat is coming out, so it will make the syrup a little warmer than those beekeepers that put their buckets of syrup on top outside the hive. So see how the bees, they congregate together in a group and they keep each other warm. See? And they will consume this syrup all night long, even when it's cold. Look at that one. I gotta put some more in. Some of them are taking 2 quarts a day. 1 quart in the morning and 1 quart in the evening. I'll just close this one up. I'm not going to show the inside of hive anymore while I'm videoing because I killed one of my queens. And these right here, the large ones, are going to spend the winter outside. And I'll show you in a few weeks when I get these together. I put insulation board in between, 2 inches in between, 1 inch behind, and that takes care of the drafts. Be no drafts getting to the side. I leave the front exposed. I put a shim between the deeps and the medium with the sugar, domino cane sugar, crystallized, not crystallized, but chunks of it inside there, and there's a hole. I can open the hole and check to see how much sugar they have, check the size of the cluster, and I close up the bottoms. And the screen here, during the winter I take the screen off or put a different one on. The screen's to keep out the robbers when you're feeding syrup. These are the lids that I use. I've made these. This right here is a Better Bee galvanized lid. Now, the first couple lids I bought when I started beekeeping, I bought from Better Bee, and then I made my own lids, and I bought the galvanized from Better Bee, and then I bought some galvanized locally. But then last year I switched. The reason why I switched, because during the summer these are so bright you can't see what you're doing, and they get extremely hot. So I switched to a white aluminum. It doesn't get hot, it's not bright, it's cheaper, and if it does wear out, you just simply replace it. Now, I called Better Bee last summer and I said, well, the name of your company is Better Bee. That means you're supposed to be better than everybody else. Why are you guys using galvanized steel for your covers? It's too bright, too hot. If you were to set a box of queens on there or any bees on there, they'll get burned. So I told them about this white aluminum. So we'll see if they change. Just because you have more bees and you run a company, that doesn't necessarily mean you're any smarter than some simple little guy that has, right now I've got 20. And what I'm doing is I'm rotating. Last year when I bought Foley's queens, I didn't have any that stayed large enough to stay out during the winter, all winter long. There's 2 reasons for that. The mites killed most of the bees, and the queens didn't lay that much during the summer to make the large colonies. So they pretty much almost got wiped out. I had to bring them inside there. So what I'm doing now is I move them 3 feet at a time, and because it was cold last night, I covered. They probably didn't need it, but I went ahead and I covered them. This right here, when I did the formic acid, I lost 2 queens from 2017. One of them was Foley's. Of the 2, only Foley's queen was replaced by another queen. So this is an October surprise, is what I call it, because she's laying. She just started laying, and I realize that she's never gonna have that many of her own brood, so I may have to add. I won't take from the large ones anymore because they're going to spend the winter outside. I may take from the other ones that I'm going to downsize even more to increase the size of this one here. And I'm going to take these blankets off here in a few minutes because the sun is up today. And the reason why my hives are dark brown, like I said, I leave the fronts exposed during the winter. The sun heats them up, but the bees do come out and they make it to the front of the hive, and it does help the hive stay a little bit warmer. But if they make it to the front of the hive in the winter, that is warm enough to re-energize them for them to get back into the hive or continue doing their cleansing flight. And like I said, I keep roofs over my bees. That way, you know, if I wanted to put that formic acid in on a certain day, I went ahead and did it even when it was raining. And I did get my windows, some large double hungs. I can take out the windows, put the hives in, or I can open up the bottom window, put 3 across. And here again, we got a roof. This isn't done yet, but I'm still working on it. And these large ones, I'm gonna, as soon as I put these small ones in the windows, when I get the windows done, these large ones are going to slide across 3 feet at a time, 3 feet a day, and make sure that the bees are out the day you move them or the next day, because you can't just keep moving. They have to know the hive is moved. And then when they get over here, I'm going to set up some more roadside posts, some signposts, whatever, and I'm going to put across here, and I will slide the large ones this way after I get the small ones over here and get them in the window. I had to do this last year because Foley's queens weren't any good, and I didn't have any large colonies that could spend the winter outside, so I basically saved them. And I did make some better queens this year from Michigan Bee Works drones. He's got some great bees because of his drones. The queens I got from Foley's bees, they were certainly a whole lot better. I wouldn't waste any money buying Foley's queens. So anyway, I'm getting set up for winter, and this is how I do it. I didn't buy any bees this year. I probably never ever buy bees again. I may buy some local queens if I think I don't have enough genetic stock. I like to try something different once in a while, but I'm never going to buy Foley's Russian bees or any bee through the mail, because they get hot when they're shipped and they die later on. They may not die when you get them or the day after you get them, but they'll die later, and then you got to pay for them still. Okay, it's a waste of money. Thank you.